Last time on Let's Play Suikoden, we made it all the way to the village of the elves where we were promptly imprisoned for being human and wanting to help them. Now we have escaped with the help of Kirkus's girlfriend Sylvina, and we are trying to do something about the burning mirror that Valeria has mentioned is Quanda's weapon of choice. Now, let's continue. Valeria is asking what we can do, and now we have our next mission. Northeast of this village is the village of the dwarves, but they eat elves. Let's get their help. I agree. I don't think we should go back to the castle first. We could do that, but there's no real point. We just need to head straight to the dwarves area. If we don't hurry, there will be a disaster. We must prevent the burning mirror from being completed. This is true. Kirkus, you're going to dwarf country to say dwarves eat elves. Yeah, but that's completely bullshit. Pardon my French. Why would dwarves eat elves? They're way smaller than an elf. I agree. Let's go. Let's talk to Valeria first. Shouldn't have trusted those elves. You know what? You're so right, Valeria. And luckily, there's nobody here, so we were able to just walk out. Or so I thought. I don't know what just happened there. That's nice. And none of the elves bothered to try to re-imprison us. But here's Valeria. She wants to come with us. So she is another mandatory party member. So we have to kick somebody out, and for the purposes of this, I'm going to do Cleo, because I think that we need to level up Pan, and Kai is just too good. So Cleo has had a nice long run with us, but for a while we're not going to have her. Okay, yeah, Sylvina can come. Alright. Just be safe, you know. It's a promise. Oh, they're sweet. Now that we're out on the world map with Valeria in our party, we want to turn back and immediately go back into the village of the elves. Because Valeria needs armor. She is, obviously, every one of these characters is not very well equipped. So, she has a brass armor and a wooden shield. Junk. But we can easily get her these feathers, which I'm going to just neglect to get for everybody. They are one more defense than the emblems. I don't think they're that worth getting at this stage, at least. They might be better than this gauntlet I have. I don't know why I have that gauntlet, actually. But other than that, yeah, I don't think it's worth it. Don't bother putting the feathers on everybody. Except for people like Valeria who don't have anything else. Now we're going to equip that on her. She doesn't have a helmet either. And I believe I also saw a leather armor I could sell. Yes. That and that. Good stuff. We need to make our at this point in the game, space is a premium. This necklace I don't think is necessary. She has that. Okay. Let's get her. She can't use a pointed hat, so let's get her headband, whatever. Okay. Let's also look through here and make sure we have everything we can use properly. Okay, so for instance, those toe shoes I think are basically the same. Now they're a little bit better than the emblem. And we'll give her this. Okay, everybody's set. Now that we have everybody set, we want to do the final thing, which is to rearrange the formation. Valeria is a lot like Pan. She is a very, very, very strong physical fighter. And she has an incredibly good rune. She has one of the better runes in the game, the Falcon rune. It's essentially a clone rune or a boar rune, except you take no penalty. You don't get unbalanced from using it. So she's really, really strong. Her physical attacks are really one of the best in the game. So we're going to stay here. It cost us about 1,200 bits to do, but I think it's worth it because we were... I don't know. It might not have been worth it, but we lost some health, so whatever. Okay, so now, they mentioned it was north. It's kind of a lie. It's really over here. That mountain trail I passed last time is where we need to go. So this is going to be our crew for the remainder of the Dwarven area. We can't really switch it out anymore. We have 4 mandatory members, and then we also have Pan, who I consider to be basically a mandatory member, and Kai, to make battles significantly easier. Essentially what we want is we want to get pawn to around level 30. If we can get him to level 30, he should be fine for that sequence I was mentioning. And here's the dwarf trail. This is the next dungeon. And it's not really a dungeon, but it's just a path that's not very difficult. And here's a death boar. And the death boars will drop boar runes, I believe. I'm pretty sure they do. But they also don't drop much experience, which is too bad. And to the left here is a treasure chest that we will want to get if I can make my way through this path. It's a feather. So we can use that feather to replace something on somebody else, like this gauntlet, for instance. I don't know why he's wearing this. I feel like I might have made a mistake in my armor equipment there, but I'm not sure. Eagle Man. These guys are not challenging either. They're kind of like a stronger version of a rock. Yep. But they do take more than just a Master Pupil attack. But not much more. Okay. Now they're dead. And they give about 100 experience at level 22, so that's not bad. Valeria also is level 25. I forgot to mention that, but yes, she's very strong. Now, there's a little hidden path there to the east that we can't go to because we got attacked by death boars, but the way to the east is another treasure. And that treasure, the death boars do a significant amount of damage. I mean, Valeria is our highest level character, who is also a frontline fighter. It did almost 60 damage to her, so it's pretty good to try to kill them as fast as possible. Obviously. Now here, this treasure, gosh darn it, get it, has a karate uniform, a useless karate uniform. Okay, now we want to go left first. Okay, I'm going to actually demonstrate her rune here. This falcon rune is really, really good. Having Kirkus attack the back row, because we know that it definitely kill the Eagle Man, or it should. Yep, and that's at least one person who won't be able to attack. This Falcon Rune does a solid 222 damage for free. She is not unbalanced, it costs no magic charges, no nothing. It's just very strong. Valeria is a worthwhile character to remember if you need a strong frontline fighter. Of course, strong frontline fighters are also the most common characters in the game, so you won't ever really be at a shortage for those. Okay, now Sacrificial Buddha, that's our first one we found. It's a weird item that is not well explained, but basically what it is if you have this Sacrificial Buddha on someone, if they die, they'll immediately come back to life. It's like a auto Phoenix down or something like that in an RPG. So towards the end of the game, those are very, very useful, but right now, it's not so great. So I like to keep them in the vault until the end of the game. And later on in the game, we're also able to buy those. So it's nice to have like one or two of them on each party member before you go into some of the later dungeons. Obviously, we want to go all the way to the east here and get this chest, which contains, well, I got attacked by Eagle Men, but let's get these. These guys are not hard at all. Everything here is protected by these trails that are littered with monsters. It's pretty strange that they haven't quelled this stuff. But that is a killer crystal. And killer crystals are very, very good. I think that's the first one we found. So I'll show you what that does in a minute, but before that, we want to get this guard robe, which is useless, but hey, it's better than nothing. And here we fight our first dwarf, and I find this to be really strange that we fight dwarves, because we're asking the dwarves for help, right? But we go into the dwarf area and we kill a lot of them. Like, that's what we're gonna do. We're fighting this dwarf and we're gonna kill him. So, if I were the dwarves, and I were, like, asking myself, hey, should I trust these humans who are asking me for help? I would be like, well, they've been slaughtering our fellow dwarves on the Dwarven Trail for quite some time. Why would I trust them? Like, I find that very strange. And the same goes for the kobolds. Like, the kobolds are attacking us, obviously, so we have to defend ourselves, but at the same time, like, there's villages of them that are good and all this stuff. Whatever. Like, it'd be one thing if we were all humans or whatever and fighting bandits, which we've done, obviously. And now those guys are our bros, but I just find that very strange, a very strange aspect of this game. Because at this point, we don't know the dwarves, and they don't trust us, so why would we fight dwarves? Like, we don't know who they are. Like, for all we know, these dwarves are guards, you know, for the town or something. Yeah. This is a somewhat challenging fight, actually. Those boars, and combined with the dwarves, do a lot of damage. And the Master People attack is not strong enough at this stage to really deal with them in the most effective, meaningful way. Realistically, I think it's probably not a bad plan if you use the Falcon Rune every you move with Valeria, just to have her guaranteed one-shot kill of a boar. And then the dwarves have a relatively high amount of HP, and they do a fair amount of damage. And I think they're medium-range fighters, so they can attack anyone on their front row. But there you go, we made it to level 23 with Mamba. That's very good. And we're continuing our way. We're almost there. We have this final screen here. And this contains a medicine. I was wrong, this is not the final screen. I thought it was. But here's a fortune rune piece. I happened to know what that was because I remember where those particular things are. And now we are almost out of here. But with our current levels, and as long as you make sure to have one medicine on each person, you should be relatively safe going through this area. Need to heal off every so often. Kai made it to level 23, very good. We also have recovered a fair amount of the bits we've lost in our shopping, and we will need those bits. This is another area where we're going to have to use a lot of bits in order to be effective. Okay, now we've made it to the... Okay, here's this guy. So, this kobold is pretty brave, going to the dwarf village all by himself. He doesn't forgive us, but he can't really fight us. So bear in mind that that guy's running around. Obviously, we'll see him again. Okay, here's a save point. Usually that means a boss, but in this case it does not. So I'm not concerned. Let's save. I'm actually not going to save, but normally I would. Just continue on. And this is the end of the Dwarf Trail. One of the longer dungeons in this area of the game. And we'll have to go back through it again, obviously. Now, here's the Village of the Dwarves. And this is the first area in the game. Well, first of all, it has amazing music. I happen to love it. And this has a weird layout that I forgot about already. Yeah, we have to go all the way to the west here in order to get up here and do anything. Yeah, it's pretty strange that humans are here safely. Get out of the way, dude. God. First thing we should do is go to the inn here and save. Or, excuse me, and stay. These dwarves were pretty rad. They all have Viking helmets. Don't break the bed, you know. That's fair. This music is so cool. Okay, now, this place has an appraiser as well as an armor shop. So we can use this guy to appraise this painting. Graffiti, joy, just what you need. Okay, this armor shop has upgrades to our helmets, which is what we want. And it'll upgrade everyone's helmet. And this is also a chance for us to clean our inventory of useless things like karate uniforms and fur capes and headbands. And these emblems that we don't need. All kinds of stuff that's useless. I'll keep that silver ring around, but everybody should sell their helmet. You don't need pointed hats. They have half helmets, which are far superior. And of course, they also have brass armor just to be jerks. Should be like, ha, we still have this useless armor. For no reason. Okay. And this person does nothing. Guess it's just a guy and his son or something. So, as you can see, I have a very standard strategy. Every time I come to a new city, I come to the shop and I see what's new, and I always do this. Proud of our great vault. You can see it just north of here. Indeed. How will our wonderful armor look on humans? I don't know. Honestly, that's a good question, because why would the Dwarven armor even work on us? Why are the kobolds such lackeys of the Empire? They attack us indiscriminately. Kobolds attack you. Very strange. I mean, they've attacked me, but I guess that's true. Let's go in here. Dwarves have attacked me, though. Study hard to be smarter than elves or humans, okay. Strong enough to beat both elves and humans. Sounds like a deadly combination. We hate the elves, and the elves look down on us. It's always been that way. Nobody even remembers the original reason for this hatred. Such hatreds don't really make any sense to me. But what do I know? We don't want to go in there just yet. The next place we want to go is down here, and that is the item shop. If I can get in. Okay, now this item shop has turtle crystals, which prevent status anomalies. They can be pretty useful. We don't need to buy any right now, but just look at it so that it appears in Chandler's shop. Let's talk to this guy. Yeah, that seems like a good plan, actually. So there's a blacksmith here learning from the dwarves. Very interesting. Ah! Now this dwarf is the first guy who could sharpen our weapons past level 5. And I believe he sharpens them to level 8. Okay, I was wrong. Level 9. So we want to do that. We want to get everybody's weapon all the way to level 9. And here's the thing about that. Notice the cost. It's a lot of money. That's another reason why I said, hey, we want to make sure we get a certain amount of money from Marco before we leave that area, because it becomes very difficult to get money. And we need as much of it as we can get, because we definitely want to have our weapons at level 9 for this part of the game. It just makes it so much easier, and it makes the battles way less of a challenge and very important. And we have plenty of money to do it thanks to Marco. And if you can't afford this stuff, I do also suggest, before even coming to the Elven Village, going to where Gaspar is in our fortress and playing dice with him. And you can win a lot of money that way. You can even max out our money pretty easily. But for now, we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to talk to this guy. This is Mies. And because we've already recruited Moss, he'll help us out. And this is great because he is just like this dwarf up here, and he will also upgrade our weapons all the way to level 9, and he'll be in our fortress. So that's great. Now Mies has joined us, and he's joined us and gone to our fortress. So we now have a way to sharpen our weapons to level 9 directly from our fortress, which is exactly what we need. Let's go talk to the rest of these dwarves. Imperial General named Quanda is attacking the village of the elves, and they don't care. That seems like a foolish foreign policy, but what do I know? Agreed with this guy. He's saying if you haven't sharpened your weapons, you'll be sorry. He's absolutely right. Let's go in here. Here is the village chief. And he has a very scary looking portrait. Human and elf hand in hand, what brings you to the dwarf mines? Chief of the dwarves, we come to ask you for a favor. A proud elf asking a lowly dwarf for a favor. Chief, have you ever heard of a burning mirror? And he's saying it's one of the dwarven treasures, but Quanda Rosman has the blueprint and plans to burn down the forest. And this is a messed up thing to say, but I guess he's gonna say it. He hopes all the elves are killed. Yeah. That's a good point. Oh, Kage stole the blueprint. So we don't know what Kage's deal is. Is he on our side, or is he on the Imperial side? We don't know. Okay, this is sort of the only part of the game that I feel is fetch questy. This part where he's saying, you have to go into the Dwarven Vault. We have to say yes, and we have to try to steal the running water route from the vault. Can we do so? Find out next time on Let's Play Suikoden. See you later.